Most contractors never break $1 million, and it's not because they're bad at the work, because they chose the wrong growth lever. The ones that do all have one thing in common. They dominate Google using the same boring local SEO techniques. In this series, I'm breaking down how real contractor businesses are using local SEO to build million and billion-dollar businesses. Today, we're breaking down Mighty Dog Roofing and how each location makes about $3.5 million per year with over 100 units across the country, meaning they're making an estimated $300 to $500 million per year. By the way, I'm Sam Sarson. I'm the founder of ThenCan, a local SEO agency that's helped dozens of contractors and other small businesses generate local leads by showing up higher on Google and getting recommended by ChatGPT. Everything you'll see today comes exactly from our playbook we'll use with clients. And in this series, we'll be breaking down the top 5 techniques these million and billion-dollar contractors are using all over the country. And by the way, in 2026, yes, this is still the most reliable way to grow your contractor business. And let's get into it with our technique for today, SEO hotspots. That's right, there's only 5 things that you need to put on every page of your website. And we're going to see how Mighty Dog's using that today. By the way, why are we looking at Mighty Dog? Because in Birmingham, Alabama, when you search roofing Birmingham, Alabama, they show up on the first page. When you search up roofing Tucson, Arizona, in Tucson, Arizona, they show up on the first page. When you look up roofing Boulder, Colorado, they show up on the first page in Boulder, Colorado. And by the way, when you search up roofing Boston, Massachusetts, they're a little lower down, but they're still on the first page of Google. Most contractors are struggling to rank on the first page in one town, and these guys are doing it all over the country. So how are they using SEO hotspots to do that? Well, before we jump into the specific hotspots, I want you to notice something. This page and this page and this page and this page all look almost identical. And you can absolutely trust me when I say the only thing these guys have changed are the SEO hotspots. So what are these SEO hotspots? The first one is your SEO title. I'm a big fan of this Chrome extension. It's detailed SEO. It's a good one. Here's kind of what the brand looks like. Looks like they got bought out by Ahrefs. Good for them. And when you use this Chrome extension, it'll tell you things like the SEO title. So you can see here, they have roofing services in Birmingham, Alabama, spacebar, Mighty Dog Roofing. In Tucson, Arizona, it's almost the same thing, except it says here for your peace of mind in the SEO title. In Boulder, they've actually gone over the recommended characters and they've put roofing contractor, and they've put Boulder in there. They've actually put it in there twice. And in Boston, where they actually have multiple locations in the Boston metro area, they're specifically targeting the West Boston metro area. And by the way, this is a snippet of our top 5 techniques that million and billion-dollar contractors use. It's just an easy Google Doc, so if you want to follow along, you can do that. Just get that in the description. And basically, when it comes to the page title, you want to make sure you're including your primary keyword very clearly, and you want to say your service and your location. It's that simple. All right, now the next SEO hotspot is technically not a ranking factor, but it's something you need to think about right after you think about your SEO title, and that's your meta description. When you search something like roofing Birmingham, Alabama, when you're looking at the organic links or the blue links here on Google, which by the way, don't listen to the AI hype bros, people still click on these all the time. What you're going to see is usually the SEO title right here, and then this is typically the meta description. Now just know that Google can swap these out, but you want to lead with something that has your keyword in it because that's going to get bolded. Again, you can use detailed to check what the meta description is. And again, Google can swap this out exactly like they've done in this situation. But if you have natural language that uses your keywords and you use direct call to action throughout your page, Google will typically find something that will work for your meta description. In our top 5 SEO techniques that million-dollar contractors use, you can see again that I mentioned this is not a direct ranking factor. And our goal is to basically include the keyword and have a clear call to action at the end. So in this example, we said, call today for a free estimate. And if we go back to Mighty Dog, they're following our exact tactic here. The next SEO hotspot is your permalink, which is also known as your URL. That's simply just the link at the top of the page. This is a massive ranking factor just below your SEO title. Make sure you're optimizing this. If you have multiple physical locations, doing something like this can definitely work, especially if you have your keyword in your brand name. If you don't, you're probably going to want to do something more like roofing-Birmingham-Alabama. And by the way, this structure also works for service area businesses, which I know is how a lot of contractors start out. Now, you might be wondering, how do I structure for multiple services, for multiple locations? Well, I can't give you all the techniques in the first video. Make sure you're subscribed because we're going to talk about that throughout the rest of the series. And if you grab the doc from the link in the description, you'll be able to sneak ahead and see what we're going to be talking about in the future. The key here for local SEO is you want to make sure you have your service keyword and your location in your permalink. In the doc, I use the example of roofing-contractor-bend-Oregon. That totally works. You might want to follow a slightly different structure if you have multiple locations or if you have multiple services, but this is a good solid one to start with. You can always set up redirects later. By the way, if you're not sure how redirects work, leave a comment below. Maybe we'll make a video about that in the future. The next SEO hotspot is your H1, which is the main heading of your page. Now, usually your H1 shows up in this hero section right here, kind of above the main text, the heading that's directed at the clients. I'm a big fan of eyebrow copy. If I was Mighty Dog, I'd put my H1 right here. You can see that's actually what we've done for this page. And as you can see, we show up first and in the AI overviews, just ahead of Mooney Marketing. Sorry, Dan, we win this one, but you're catching up to me. I'm watching you, buddy. But you don't have to follow the eyebrow copy technique because actually, if you look, their H1 is roofing services in Birmingham, which makes sense. And it's actually all the way down here. And we'll talk more about this section in a second. In the doc, I mentioned that you really only want to have one H1. Be careful if you're using a page builder like Squarespace. They love to throw H1s all over the place for no reason. And you want to basically mirror your SEO title. Don't be cute, don't be unique. Just say your service, your city, and your state, and that's it. And the fifth SEO hotspot is in your body. Not like your body, like the body of the page. That makes sense, right? It's not enough to just say it in the hotspots. You need to say it naturally throughout the page. And this is a good place to use variations of the keyword as well. SEO comes down to two things, relevancy and authority. We'll talk about authority in a future video. Today, we're talking about relevancy. We want to tell Google what we do and where we do it. And so you want to make sure you're saying that keyword naturally throughout the page. It's good to include it at the start of the page, the end of the page, and throughout, and to keep things natural, especially as we move on to the future. Now, if we look at this page, you'll notice they say Birmingham 13 times. They say it up here, 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 here. They have it in the chat bot. This big section right here, and also the address down in the footer, which is name, address, phone number. If you've heard about NAP, it's not as important as it used to be, but it is still important. I want to highlight this section. They're doing a lot of things really well here. They're internally linking to other pages, which is massively important. I thought about including that as an SEO hotspot, but I think it's something you can think about later on in the strategy. And they're also mentioning their other services. There's a reason why they're able to get away with this. Most smaller contractors, I'd recommend building out specific pages for this. But if you look at their sitemap, they have hundreds of pages because they have locations all over the country. And because they have the authority, they don't necessarily need to build out these smaller pages. You probably do, but that's a technique for a different video. Shout out to Mighty Dog Roofing. Obviously, they wouldn't have the success they have without a solid service/location page. And that's exactly what they're doing here with all of these pages. They're doing a great job. If you're looking for a template, I think this is a good one that you can use moving forward, and we're going to show other ones in future videos in this series that we think are worth replicating, and also pointing out the situations where they might not be doing that good a job or there's some opportunities for improvement. Now, at this point in the video, you might be thinking, well, great, Sam, this is cool for these million and billion dollar brands that are franchises, but what about the little guys? Well, that's actually exactly why we made this document, is we wanted to figure out how we can break this down to be used by the smaller contractors, helping you reach your first million or that next big milestone. Maybe it's 10 million. And after we break down the technique, we always share with you a case study where we've done this with a real client. Now, in case you didn't know, when you're doing SEO, you're basically working out in the open. So it actually isn't the best thing to have your SEO company be revealed, because that can give away some of your strategies. But for all the rest of the clients in these videos, we're going to be blurring out their information, and that's just so we're not giving away who we're doing SEO for. Hope you understand that. But a quick TLDR of this story is that it's a smaller roofing company. They actually started from scratch. They had their own site on one of those DIY page builders. We built their website. They weren't ranking super high. After that, it's a very competitive industry in our area. And I said, hey, if you guys want to get results, we're going to have to start doing SEO. And boom, there we go. And roofing leads started to come in from their website. But this is actually a cautionary tale and a fun one to share updated results of. So you notice uptick, 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 uptick. And what happens? Busy season, going out, doing jobs. And guess what? Right here is actually where they stop doing SEO services. And so what you can see is what happens when you stop doing ongoing SEO services. Now, I just checked and they're actually ranking at the top of the second page, and that's super awesome. At the height of their SEO results, they were ranking just below the blue bloods that have been doing roofing for dozens of years in their town. And even after not working on SEO for about 6 months, they're still showing up on the top of the second page. So I think that shows the lasting value of SEO. And I really hope those guys circle back, get the team that can support the leads that are coming through, and they can really crush it in 2026. At the end of each technique, we include a 15-minute quick win. So check your SEO hotspots on one of your pages today. I promise you, I have seen pages go from not showing up at all to showing up on the second page, first page even. It depends on the competition in your industry, in your area, but still, like, make these moves as soon as possible. And by the way, if you're stuck when it comes to SEO right now, click that link to get a free SEO strategy video. Hopefully today you learned the values of the SEO hotspots, but this is just one episode of our $1 Million SEO Contractor series. If you want to see how other contractors are doing this, in the description we'll have a link to the playlist where all the videos in the series will be together. Go ahead and click this link if you're ready to jump into one right now, and I'll catch you in that one.